So once it was time for our interview and we actually got up to speak to, ours was a woman, she asked a few questions. She asked me to tell her a little bit about the business. So I had kind of like a 3-minute elevator pitch prepared, and she didn't even let me talk past about 20 seconds. So she kept cutting me off and just, typing some things into her computer, and I had to keep answering questions throughout. So just to give you a visual, you are standing in front of this glass. The officer is on the other side. There's a microphone on your right, so I stood kind of close to the microphone so she could hear me. And if they couldn't hear you, you'll press a button to be able to speak with them, to speak clearly throughout. There is a place for you to put your things down, and you are standing. There's no chair. So just for those visual people who need an understanding, that's what it looks like. So she asked me to tell me about the business. She asked me about what I spent the funds on. She asked me what was the most expensive expense that you had. So for us, we had a photo booth and then we had some cameras. So I said our camera bodies were the most expensive. She asked about 20 questions. She was very interested in hearing more about the business. She wanted to know about the contracts that we had. She asked about what training I had to be able to, so as a photographer, what training I had for people. She wanted to know what people I had to be able to talk to about my work and who was able to help me critique my work. So I was able to answer that question. She asked about the education that I had to prepare me for this position. What else did she ask me? She didn't ask, surprisingly, any question about my spouse or my children. It was all about the business. And what I did was, since she kept cutting me off of my 3-second speech, whenever there was silence, I went right in and I brought something else in. So I talked about that I had won 2 international awards and how I was recently featured in, I was recently published. So I said, I have that here if you'd like to look at it. And we then slipped things through. So whenever there was that moment of silence in between questions, I tried to slip in more pieces of the highlights of my business. And that was really helpful. At the end of it, we were fingerprinted. So there's a little, right there as you're standing, there's a little box where you're gonna be doing your fingerprint. So I had to do mine, my husband did his. And then we went and we paid a fee. For each person, we had to pay whatever it was, $50 per person. They gave us a receipt. We went back, and then they told us right then and there we were approved. And that was it. That was our visa application. So I hope that eases some of your mind on what to expect. But really, if you have all the documentation that I had spoke about in these videos, and you just are very prepared on a little bit about your numbers and really ensuring that you highlight all those top qualities of what your business is all about, you should be fine. Good luck.